Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something a little bit fun and we're going to create one of these adorable mock Polaroid fairy light buntings. Now you probably know that Polaroid cameras and the extra films are so expensive, but I'm going to show you how to create one of these for under £20, and best of all, you'll have over 100 images to switch in and out. Let's jump in. To get started with this DIY, you are going to need some 5x7 photo paper that is already trimmed to size. I'm using the amazing paper Cutz because the quality is excellent, the prints are amazing, and it never lets me down. For the actual fairy lights, there are so many different ones available. I have chosen to go for ones that also include the transparent clips. I'll drop a link down below for both the paper and for these that I purchased from Amazon. You're going to need something to be able to trim down your photos. I'm using a trimmer, but you could also use scissors or a scalpel too. Obviously, you're going to need a printer to print out your photos, and I'm going to be using my Canon IP8750. The last step is completely optional, but you can also add some cute little embellishments to make them really personalised.
We're going to start by heading to Canva, and we're going to create a document that is approximately 7 inches wide by 5 inches tall. Once that loads, we're going to go to the Elements box and then search for Polaroid frame. Once we've found one that we like, we're going to resize so that you can fit 2 on a document. Once that's done, we're going to keep multiplying the page until we've got a run of however many photos we wish to print. Once we've imported all of our photos, it's just a case of clicking and dragging them into the frames. If you need to adjust the perspective or what's actually cropped, just double click on each and then you can adjust them, move them around and then click off. Once that's all done, we're going to download as PNGs and then bring them into Affinity Designer. We're going to start with a 7 inch wide by 5 inch document, making sure that we've got CMYK and 300 DPI. We're going to create artboards for these. We're making as many artboards as we need to create all of the photos. I'm centrally aligning these to each of the artboards and then working my way across by zooming in and out so I've got a good overview of them all. Once we're finished, it's time to go up to print settings. Make sure that you are printing all artboards together, and then we're going to go and change the media type to 5x7, and then obviously we are going to have this high quality and gloss photo. Borderless needs to be turned off as well. If you get Affinity Designer giving you an error with the red page here, just make sure that you double check all your sizes.
So now we've got our Polaroid mock images printed out. You can see that round here is a border that kind of mimics the actual Polaroid film itself. And now we need to go through and start trimming these down. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to use a paper trimmer just because it's quicker, but you can use whatever you've got to hand.
So to make sure that I'm going to get a nice clean cut on these, I'm going to change out the blade on my trimmer as I've done a few orders recently and it's starting to dull. So I will drop links to the replacement blades that I use down in my description box. Okay, so that's in now. We'll get rid of that one.
And it's a case of eyeballing it up as to where it's going to go when trimmed. There we go, have a nice new blade in, we've got a good cut. Okay, 2 down and only another 28 to go. So now I have cut all of these out, you can see just how closely they actually mimic Polaroid cameras, through to the slightly off-white trim that's there and the size too. So now we've got them all, it's time to assemble our fairy lights and start adding them. So the plan is actually to put the fairy light bunting here. So before we start, I'm going to check that the lights work, because I don't want to go to all of the effort to put it up and then find out it's not going to work. So these are a battery operated ones. You can obviously get plug-in ones, and although I do have a plug just over here, this means that obviously I can move it to where it's needed, and it's battery operated, so completely portable. So moment of truth. Ta-da! So I've gone for the warm white because I personally prefer it. I think it's much cozier. I think that bright white can be a little bit harsh, so we're going for these. These are probably going to end up casting a really beautiful glow in the evenings when I'm working out here, and it's going to be so nice being able to change the photos out. I'm going to remove the batteries just while we are installing, because obviously it makes the battery pack quite heavy. The pack that I purchased actually comes with little pins specifically for hanging. As you can see, they go into the wall, but they've got this easy to wrap round little round bit here, so it's not going to damage the wire at all, and then you can just crisscross it going from row to row to just make sure that it's hanging exactly as you like it. So now let's get this installed. The plan is going to be to have the battery pack just resting here. So I'm going to start with the first pin, so there's enough slack, and it's just going to go in here. I'm going to just do a little tap tap, and then these will obviously just wrap round. If you do it just like that, let me try and get a close up. So now I've applied this in, we are going to wrap that round just twice, just to keep it in and stop it from slipping. Now these very unique looking pins did not come with any instructions, so if I'm not applying them correctly, let me know. There's a lot of trial and error involved, but now I'm going to work on crisscrossing these up the wall. There are quite a lot here, so I'm going to have it kind of bowing down slightly, but let's get that done. So it's now time to use these tiny little transparent pegs to put on our Polaroid photos. So obviously you need to figure out how many photos you've got and how many you would like on each row. I would strongly suggest that you don't cover up any of the lights. Obviously these are LED, so they don't get hot, but it would just be more cozy if they are just peeking through. I am so in love with how this has turned out. Obviously I've still got 3 rows at the top that I can fill in. This was just our summer memories from the 6 weeks holiday that just passed. Chibichi Junior went back to school last week, so it's really nice while I'm working to have something that I can kind of look at and remember just why I'm doing this. I've got so many pegs still left, and as I said earlier, the amount of card that you get in a pack from Paper Cutz means that there is enough to print out approximately 100 images, which means that you could chop and change this a couple of times and still have some left over, which is fantastic, especially considering how much it would cost you for Polaroid film. I looked it up the other day, £16 for 8 Polaroids, which is a huge price difference compared to the Paper Cutz that you can just trim down and do a mock effect. And you can use your phone or digital camera, so it's perfect. I know that Chibichi Junior is going to ask for one of these in her bedroom, and I will definitely have fun picking out the photos. To make it even more personalised, Chibichi Junior likes to collect things from when we're out and about, such as train stubs or tickets, or even business cards with cute little illustrations on from days out. So the good thing about that is these can also be placed on next to the photo, just so that you can tie your little keepsake with the photo itself. You can obviously add embellishments like stickers to these as well, either physical put on after, or you can add them in Canva before you print them out. It just adds another fun dimension to your Bunting fairy lights. This was such a fun and easy craft to make. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I'm probably going to end up with a few of these in the house because they are really on trend right now, and I just love the fact that it's a perfect way to display your photos and they're fairly easy to switch in and out as well. As always, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. If there's any crafts that you would like to see me do, drop a comment down below. As always, I will be adding links to everything that I've used, including the wonderful Paper Cutz photo card, in the description down below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye!